As always, happy Monday, everybody. And I guess I should be saying happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I hope you the jacket's a little tighter than normal today. I can tell you that because been lots of great, fellowship, honestly. But the turkey and the ham and all the food and the trimmings are all in there as well. So I hope you've been able to enjoy the weekend. Mother Nature's certainly been nice to us. It's a nice time of year, right? You know, the leaves are changing color and everything else. But it's always important to get together and just kind of slow down a little bit and relax and enjoy yourself with family and friends. Hope you've had a chance to do that. And it is Monday, and I never miss a week. This is episode number 415. That's right. And even though it's a holiday, I was able to reach out and connect with some people that are going to join us here today as well. So if you're watching this live, I appreciate you having nothing better to do right now than to come by and watch live. And that's okay if you're not watching live. If you're watching the replay, of course, this stays out there. And we are simulcast all throughout the world. We're live right now. Of course, here in Canada, we're live in our Facebook hubs throughout the United States, Australia, South Africa, Ireland, and I can't forget my friends in the United Kingdom as well. So wherever you're watching from, thank you so much for being here. And again, whether you're celebrating it or not, because not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving, but if you are, happy Thanksgiving. Earlier today, I was very excited to be a part of LiveCon 2019, an event that was created by our friends at BeLive. Of course, BeLive, well, we're using BeLive right now to interview our guests. And if you're thinking of live streaming or you have a passion you want to share, BeLive could be the answer for you. And LiveCon 2019, I was invited along with many others to speak. Today is BeLive's third birthday. So happy birthday to BeLive Television. And thank you for the platform that you provide to be able to connect so many of us throughout the world. My friend Stephen Healy was guiding us earlier today as one of the moderators, as I am, along with Brigitte Lambada, who was in South Africa, joining us for LiveCon 2019. Some really cool announcements, features for live streaming, and BeLive, the BeLive Studio 2. It is now called version 2. And when you're done here, you can head on over to the BeLivers group or go to b.live on Facebook and on the internet as well to find out more. I know some of the things they're talking about, but I'm not allowed to say anything. I get slapped on the hand if I do that. But very excited to have been a part of LiveCon 2019. It will continue on tomorrow and Wednesday. So many great speakers from around the world. And listen, even if you're not into live streaming, there are going to be so many golden nuggets shared about how to present yourself, how to use your social media to grow your business or where your passion or your hobby, whatever that is. And it's all free to watch. So if you want to help yourself grow, I would encourage you to go to BeLivers. It's a group on Facebook, 10,000 plus strong now and growing. So check that out. You will miss something if you don't go there. And I learned a few tidbits this morning myself. So thank you, BeLive, for having me be a moderator for you. And thank you for including me a part of LiveCon 2019. All right. The Sarnia Sting. Let's talk about the Sarnia Sting. Boy, they're having a rough go this year so far. 0-7, as it would turn out. It is more than a game, so they keep pushing through. Now, and of course, you know, this sports thing, you know, that the fans have always got some opinions on what they should be doing or, you know, get rid of that one and bring in this one. Of course, there's all kinds of opinions out there, but at the end of the day, they keep pushing through. They are a bit of a young team in the center of it all. They're surrounded by some great veterans. And we saw them play, honestly, quite well against the Peterborough Petes there this past weekend. We were there. Honestly, one of the best games they've played against a really strong team as well. And then, of course, they would go on yesterday to play the Windsor Spitfires. And not coming out well, but they are – does it make sense? Even though you're losing games, they are playing pretty well. Of course, there's some things that they're working on. Playing some tough teams right from the start as well. And 6-3 was the final score against the Peterborough Petes this past weekend. And then they would go down to Windsor yesterday and lose that one 8-5. So what is happening out there? Well, we got a chance to catch up with Ethan Langevin, who is the main goaltender for the Sarnia Sting. 40 saves he had against the Peterborough Petes. That's a lot of saves going on out there. He was working hard, and he had a few thoughts to share with us. We're going to take you right now to behind the scenes, post-game after the Peterborough Petes fall 6-3 to them, And here is what Ethan Langevin had to say. Take a look.
Here post game with tonight's first star of the game, Ethan Langevin. Pretty busy night for you, and some real nice saves. I thought a real good game. The guys were in it right from the start. You gave them a chance to win.
Yeah, it was definitely a good game. I felt really well, and we kept with them for most of the game. It's a shame of the outcome, but there's some positives we can take out from tonight. Like, we stayed disciplined, and we just had a really good game, I thought.
I thought that was the other big thing. You just touched on it against a pretty good offensive team in the Peterborough Petes. You guys did what you had to. You stayed out of the box. You were pretty disciplined.
Yeah, exactly. Against a team like that, that's what you need to do to win, and we gave ourselves the chance by doing that.
Now, arguably the best team you've seen so far this year. And, is it a case of good teams bringing out the best in you guys?
Yeah, I think, especially for me as a goalie, when you're facing a good team, you're getting a lot of high-quality shots, and it helps you stay in the zone the whole time. And that's how I felt tonight. And I know with the other guys, they probably felt something similar.
So you don't mind getting 40-something shots a night?
Yeah, no, especially tonight, I didn't mind it. It helps the stats, and it makes you feel good too.
How do you feel about playing every game so far?
It hasn't been that bad. We haven't had a 3-3 yet, so I've been pretty fortunate for that. But I don't mind it. I like playing hockey, and it's been good for me so far.
You guys got a new face in the lineup, Ryan Roth, the trade the other day. Obviously, I'm sure you guys are waiting for a couple more new faces in the lineup. Some of the guys that are out, hopefully, maybe by next weekend. It must have been nice though still to get kind of a new face in the lineup, something different.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely noticed him tonight. His offensive ability, especially on the power play, just seeing guys across the ice and whatnot. He definitely was a big impact on the lineup, and I look forward to seeing him play the rest of the year.
Obviously, it's important to sit back and look for the takeaways of what happened in tonight's game. For you as a goaltender, where's your focus lie now leading into you got a busy week ahead?
Yeah, well, we have Windsor tomorrow, so our focus is just on that now and how we can try to beat them tomorrow, because we definitely need 2 points, and that would be big.
I got to keep doing karaoke, right? We had a technical issue there. Now we're back. And they just won't let me stop doing the karaoke out there, right? So this Wednesday, October the 16th, from 7 to 10, I will be hosting karaoke at the Refined Fool Brewing Company at the Midtown one out there. So you can check that out. Now, it starts at, the karaoke doesn't start at 3 in the afternoon, but the event starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for the Alzheimer's Society. It'll go till midnight, but I'll be there doing some karaoke at the Refined Fool from 7 till 10 at the Midtown Refined Fool. So we'll hope you'll be there and join us for that. I apologize again for the sound issues. Are we good now? Yeah, okay. I got my crew helping me out here. That's good. Thanks so much for the Alzheimer's Society for asking me to be a part of that. I'm happy to support the Alzheimer's Society. And it doesn't matter what kind of caliber singer you are. Once you have a couple of pints of Troll Toll, you'll probably be ready to go out and do some singing with us. So we hope you'll join us for that. Again, that's coming up this Wednesday at the Refined Fool. Also, our friends from the Canadian Cancer Society, they're having their 1, 5, and 10K walk and run coming up on Sunday. Okay, I'm going to say it. Sunday. It's just like you got to say it. It's Sunday. Sunday, they'll be having their annual walk, and they're still looking for some people to join them out there for that as well. Paula McKinley was here joining us last week. And again, we'll post some more of that information if you're still looking to be a part of supporting the Canadian Cancer Society here. They've got their Flavors and Favors event coming up this Friday as well. That's to support young children with cancer. And you can check out that interview that we'll be posting. We'll be posting all the interviews from last week on their own, coming up a little bit on our Facebook page after today's show, right? I'm really excited about what's happening on today's show. This is quite a story to be told. It's called Gridiron Underground. What exactly is that all about? We'll take a quick look. We're going to show you a teaser before we have our guest, James Wallen, join us here in just a moment. But right now, take a look at this.
I remember when I was working out one time for the New York Giants, and the first statement that came to me was like, "Man, you make a great free safety." I kind of looked at him and said, "Free safety?"
Nobody else was giving me that opportunity. No other team in the National Football League, no other city.
And I said, I feel I'm a quarterback and can play it if given the opportunity. He said, well, I'm sorry to say, Bernie, that that opportunity will not present itself here in Cleveland. But there are teams in Canada, and if you want to go there, you'll be given the opportunity to play quarterback in Hamilton.
Chapters running as the ball in the latter part of the season.
Dynamite Johnny Bright explodes into the end zone.
Really again over the middle. Let's get to Tony Gabriel. And he's down.
One of the great experiences in sport, Don, is witnessing greatness.
All right, Gridiron Underground, written or author and filmmaker, and well, he wears a lot of hats actually in this. We're happy to have him here joining us. His name is James Wallen. We're going to bring him in to the studio right now. And hello, James. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burrows.
Gridiron Underground. I'd heard about this through our mutual friend Bruce had brought this to my attention quite some time ago, and of course I started looking into it more. This is really I guess it could be considered a powerful story, but a bit of a sensitive story as well.
Well, I'm curious, just how do you mean sensitive?
Well, I mean, it obviously it comes across there was some kind of racism happening there.
Oh, I understand from that point of view. Well, definitely there was. I mean, we start this story back in 1946, really, when Jackie Robinson was playing in Montreal baseball.
Yeah.
for the Montreal Royals. He was going to come up to baseball the next year with Brooklyn Dodgers. And he would encounter incredible racism when he got to the big leagues. But in Montreal, they loved him. He was a hero in Montreal. They showered him with adulation. And so Lou Heyman was starting up a team, the Montreal Alouettes. And he looked at how well received Jackie Robinson was and thought, why not integrate the Canadian football? And so he signed Herb Trawick out of Kentucky to be the first Black American to play in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah. What do you think? What was it about Canada that? I mean, you talk about the Underground Railroad, and there's lots of different stories we could share. Even not too far from us down here in Amherstburg, there's a lot of history there. And what do you think it was about Canada at the time that we were open arms?
Well, we were still a young country, and we really hadn't had the same slavery that the United States did.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these guys from the South had grown up with that. And it's not that they never faced racism in Canada. It might rear its ugly head here and there, but to a much less degree. And they found that up here in Canada, that the racism that existed might come more from a base of ignorance, than the hatred that they found in the South. And so, and I think that the game itself was opening up of Canadian football, and they were starting to relax the rules about imports. And so they decided to go and get the best. And back in the this era we're talking about the 50s even, these guys, when they came up, the Canadian football could pay as much or more to import players as the NFL. It was it was a good, solid financial situation up here for them as well.
Yeah. There's obviously been a lot of progress over the years with this. So, why did you feel this story needed to be told? What was it how did this first come to your attention, and why did you decide to share this?
I met Bruce Smith, who was a former Argonaut and Tiger Cat. And he was also a chaplain on Bay Street. So he was, and he had come from poverty and a background of violence in Huntsville, Texas.
Okay.
And he had come up here and played football, and then he'd also become one of the biggest real estate agents in Canada. He was that successful, but he had one of those crises of the soul where he just, I don't like what I'm doing, and wanted to spread his message of Christianity to the public. And I was going to do a separate film on him. I was looking to try to pitch it to Vision TV, as a spiritual film.
Right.
And a friend that I had connected with, we'd gone to film school together years before, came to me and said, I'd like to form a company with you. And he says, I got this idea for a film called Gridiron Underground. And it would be a look at the CFL, because he was a huge, huge CFL fan. And it would be about Black Americans coming to Canada. And I said, well, I've got the perfect guy. So we just kind of put the two ideas together and started making this film. And we thought we wanted a film that wasn't controversial. It was more of a celebration of the lives of these of these Black Americans who came up in here and became new citizens.
Yeah. And one of them being Dynamite Johnny Bright. And he's quite you could do a whole documentary just on him probably. And many of these individuals. And you were able to connect with these gentlemen still, were you?
Well, Johnny Bright was unfortunately dead, and Rolly Miles and some of the players. And this film took us about 10 years to make. Like, shooting a little bit when we get a little money here, and then we do other jobs and then get a little more money. So we were traveling around trying to shoot interviews with these guys. But the thing is, these players were excited by the opportunity that they were kind of finally being recognized in Canada for having come here, strangers in a strange land, and become stars.
Yeah. What about the families of any of these gentlemen? Were you able to connect with any of them and get information for them? Or like the research is always really the chore, isn't it?
Well, yes. I just had a book published this year that's, I don't know if you're aware of, the Gridiron Underground. It's been published as a book as well.
Right.
So I went further than the film, and I was able to delve more into their stories and interview more people, and spend more time getting those interviews. And there's a wonderful person in our film, Rolly Miles' wife, Dr. Marion Miles, and she's in our film, and she's wonderful. And she was very open and gracious, and shared a lot of stories and amusing stories, that she would, at acts of racism that she encountered in the South, she'd just shake her head at now, like, can you imagine? Yeah. I almost thought of calling the book, Can You Imagine?
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? Because one of the things that I got led to Bernie Custis, who was the first Black starting quarterback in professional football back in 1951 with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And he'd been in Cleveland's camp, and he went to line up with the quarterbacks. And they, what are you doing here? Get with the defensive backs. He's going, I'm a quarterback. He was an all-star, All-American. Well, not in Cleveland. You're not a quarterback,
Right.
But they sent him up to Hamilton, and he became the starting quarterback in Hamilton in 1951. Yeah. I'm sorry, I might have lost track of the question there.
No. I might have too, because I'm so talking and well, and I guess, and one of the things in that trailer that we played there, that you hear the sports commentators, one of them, I don't know who it was, said, one of the great things about sports is when you get to witness greatness,
right?
And it really it really speaks loudly in this documentary, I guess, that there's a lot of greatness that was happening there. And I guess, you talk about, the racism that was happening and was preventing them from doing things. And we talk about success and greatness and follow your passion and things will go great. But these were not easy times. Like this was there's beyond dedication from these gentlemen that pushed through this, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, even in the early days of playing Canadian football, even a lot of the imports that they might bring up were from the South.
Right.
So they carried prejudices against a Black player that might come in. And so it wasn't easy. They wouldn't share water bottles or anything. They make a show of it.
Yeah.
And coaches. Bernie Custis, he played 1 year at quarterback, and his coach at Hamilton had been from Oklahoma, and after 1 year, he switched Bernie to halfback, and never let him play quarterback again. Kept bringing in other quarterbacks. Now, Bernie was a great halfback; he was a star. But why would you take your best player, your best quarterback, and make him something else?
I've never been able to understand it. I just, that racism, I've just never been able to understand it. I don't even try anymore.
I know.
Because like you just said, like, why would you do that?
Well, again,
reason, sir, why would you do that? And
now, now I remember why I brought up the "Can you imagine?" Because it was Bernie Custis who said, he talked about a high school incident where he went to he was the only black kid on his team. He went to there was 10 black students in this all-white school. So they went to play a team outside the district. And fans threw baby bottles at him. Hard baby bottles. Back then, Pyrex.
Right.
Or something, And these are coming down, and he's going, people throwing can you imagine? So you have to, what I like about this film is that fact of being able to step into their shoes, to feel that. And hopefully that's one of the things that the film achieves, and the book, is to have that empathy, to be there as white Canadians,
Yeah. You're going to be showing this on October 23rd, I believe it is, at the Sarnia Library Theater, right?
Yes, 7:00.
It's already been. This was shown on PBS, I believe, back in 2017. Is that right?
Yeah, out of Buffalo. I mean, they were the first one who would pick it up. We were trying to shop it to all the Canadian channels. After that, in 2018, CHCH picked it up, and they showed it. But it really hasn't been seen much outside of that. So I thought, I moved back to Sarnia a couple of years back, and I thought, well, I'd like to, I always kind of wanted to show it in Sarnia.
Yeah. You're originally from Sarnia, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up here and then moved to Toronto, and I was there 40 years, and now I just moved back.
Right. And like, you've written professionally for you can really bring quite a unique perspective to all of this, because you've written for television, radio, stage, like and when I say that perspective, all of those have different formats and different ways of being approached. When you approach a film like this, I think probably, and I've interviewed a lot of filmmakers and authors like yourself, the editing part, what to leave out, has got to be one of the toughest things to do when putting something like this together.
Oh yeah, like it was Raymond Chandler once said about writing that you have to learn to kill your darling.
Right.
And there are so many bits that it's great, but it doesn't fit, and we want to shorten it,
Yeah.
So the blood on the cutting room floor,
Right. Now, is this are you doing this all on your own, or you have a team, obviously, I would think, because this would be a lot for one person to handle.
Making the film?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have a company still going in Toronto called Strongwall Productions.
Yeah.
And we're looking at doing a couple more productions down there, and and then I've got my hand in some things locally here that I want to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anything you can tell us?
Well, I've been working with Indigenous writer David Plain.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and we want to do a kind of historical stage epic, completely from Native point of view, you know.
Yeah. Well,
First Nations point of view that'll.
You'll have to keep us posted on that one for sure. I'd love to have you back and talk about that. But what's the best part of this movie for you, this documentary? What did you have a favorite? Like, I'm really glad we were able to put that together and pull that piece of it off. That was really super important.
I think it was from Bruce Smith, is you'll discover in the film, Bruce Smith was like best friends with Bernie Custis.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know about Bernie Custis when I started the film. And then Bruce Smith hooks me up with Bernie Custis, and I discovered here's the first Black starting quarterback in professional football.
Yeah.
And Bernie Custis was best friends with John Twiggy Williams, who played for Hamilton, and like a godfather to John Williams Jr.'s son, John Williams Jr., and they're the only Black father and son combination to have their names on the Grey Cup.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, you know, it's a family affair. I loved getting involved in telling this family story. And, you know, Bernie, you'll find Bernie's story becomes kind of the lead story throughout the film as he gets his recognition.
Very good.
Pretty uplifting.
I'm looking forward to the opportunity to get out and seeing this. And of course, we want many others to come out and enjoy this as well. Moving past Gridiron Underground, what's next for James Wallen? And I know you mentioned that project, but you've got a lot going on. Is there, do you keep moving around all over the planet, or are you just between here and Toronto, or what?
Yeah, basically between here and Toronto right now. And I'm trying to get another book project going, and I really don't feel like but it's an iconic Canadian figure.
Okay, very nice.
Yeah, for the book.
Who's writing a book? I have a friend right now who's writing a book, and he's never thought he would do that. Can you offer some advice to a first timer?
Yeah, do the work. I mean, do it every day. That's just get up, and even if you don't think it's any good, just keep, you know, going at it day after day. It has to become like it's a routine, you know, really.
Yeah.
That's the only advice I can give.
Yeah. Piece by piece and just keep going, right?
Just keep going.
Yeah. What kind of response have you gotten? Like you say, this has been a recent, back in 2017. Do you get feedback from the viewers? Like, do they reach out to you on the internet or anywhere and say, I like this, or boy, I didn't really like that, or how's that?
Yeah. We've had some messages, and it's mostly positive. It's all positive, you know, because most people say, well, it's a story. It's about time the story was told, you know. Yeah. And the same with the book, you know. It's people are so happy that this story's being told. You know, there's a lot of CFL fans out there, you know.
Yeah.
It's not all NFL. It's not all Detroit Lions here.
That's right. I think the CFL does get a little left behind.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe
I'm a great fan of it, you know. I'm a great fan of the CFL. So
yeah. Do you have a favorite team there?
Oh yeah. I can't say.
James.
So I came to love Hamilton because they were treated as well. Yeah.
Yes. I think most would agree with that.
Yeah.
Sure. James Wallen, thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm looking forward to get out and seeing this. Before I let you go, is there anything else you want to add in there about the documentary and the performance coming up?
I think just the fact that where the tickets are available, I don't know if that's been mentioned, but they're available. Yep. Blackwater Coffee, the Bookkeeper, and the Bookkeeper will be selling books and DVDs at the screening. bookkeeper. I want to just give them a boost because they're great. They've been great. They did my book launch here, and they're wonderful people. And or you can get tickets at the door.
Perfect. Well, let's get them in advance. Let's not be the Sarnia last-minute town that we're known for, folks. Tickets are only $10, as James mentioned. You can get them at Blackwater Coffee, one of my favorite spots here in downtown Sarnia.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the bookkeeper as well. And it will be showing October the 23rd. It starts at 7 o'clock here at the Sarnia Library Auditorium. James, thank you so much again. I look forward to hopefully meeting you in person and shaking your hand.
Oh, thank you, David. It was a pleasure.
Have a good day. Happy Thanksgiving.
Well, same back to you.
All right, James Wallen. He is author, filmmaker, and great story to talk about there as well. And he's sharing the documentary Gridiron Underground. As I mentioned, will happen on Wednesday, October the 23rd. Starts 7 o'clock. It's only $10, and I'm hoping I've got it on my calendar. I'm hoping I can make it out there because I'm really intrigued by this story, and be a good night out as well, and support the story of Gridiron Underground. And you can get to know James Wallen there as well. Thanks so much again, James. All right. Well, a short one today because it is Thanksgiving, and we're just going to let other people enjoy the rest of the day. I do appreciate James taking the time on a holiday to be here with me today as well. But before we go, just a couple things. Motorcycles are still out on the road. I'm one of them, so I hope you'll keep your eyes out there for the two wheels. Don't let the weather fool you, and we'll keep an eye out there for you as well. I want to say a special thank you to some of our supporters here, AG Event Graphics. You can visit them online at askguy.ca, and, of course, Joe's Discount Tire. And then earlier, of course, when we had our Sarnia Sting recap, I want to say thank you to our friends at Oswald's Diner and Active Ears Hearing Center here in Sarnia as well. And I want to say thanks to all of you. Appreciate you watching. And if you can't watch or you don't want to watch, you can listen to me online anywhere podcasts are found, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, like I said, anywhere that they can be found. Really appreciate all of you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. That's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here on the show. Bye for now.